You're watching Mugen TV RPG Haven. Experience a fantasy like no other.
Hey guys, it's MugenLord here.
It's DxStrike Channel,
And we're here with a discussion video talking about an indie project called Haven from Baker Studio, which is an indie studio. Just recently they released a demo about a couple of days ago. It was during a festival that was going on, and we had got a chance to play it. The demo is no longer for download because it was only available for 4 days, and I posted a video about 2 days ago going into details and giving my impressions. But in this video we just going to have an overall discussion of what we felt about the demo with my brothers Keelancer and DxStrike. So we're going to go dive right into it. We're going to start off with DxStrike first. What is your initial impressions of the game?
I loved it. It had a unique spin on turn-based. The environment, the art style, the music is like especially when the intro comes on and it has like this water paint look to it. And me being an artist, like, it automatically pulled me in, but it'll pull anybody in. But me, I was just intrigued on the artwork. It was just really cool. I like how the game makers with this design style, they took more of a anime approach. As you can see in the characters, Fury wasn't so much. It was more like a American style type of design with like I guess anime themes, I guess. But this one is straight like anime. Some of the art style sort of reminds me of Gravity Rush. Some of the like the character faces and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
As for me, when I first turned that demo on, I wasn't sure what to expect from it. I did see like trailers of it, but they really didn't show much during last year's showing event. I was very impressed, especially at the visuals. These guys really came up, like from games like Fury, which I played. That to me, Fury was a boss rush mode type of game, but this thing really blew my socks off. They have a fully 3D rendered world, especially when you get onto the ship. The ship just blew my mind away. It was because I wasn't expecting them to be this far in development of this game like this compared to seeing Fury. I mean, Fury is somewhat 3D, but this game is full 3D when it comes down to the ship and being outside. I love the environments. The environments are really cool. The combat was totally different. I wasn't expecting this type of combat. Active, like an active type of turn-based, which totally knocked my socks off. I was confused from the jump of how to even play the game at first, using two characters at once.
Yeah, so before I even give you my impressions, I remember them revealing this about last year, I believe at E3 or a couple other game press events. They had a teaser on it. Now, the thing about this is when it comes to video games, and when a new game is pretty much revealed, the first thing that gets my attention is not only the story, because story comes in late, like second. It's the design of the game. It's how the characters are designed, and looking at you and looking at Kay. Looking at their clothing and everything really captured my interest, and looking at the art style had caught my interest. And then after that, it just kind of like they just went ghost for a little bit, like the developers and the game itself, until now, where I was going to the eShop and I was picking up Doom Eternal or putting down for it, and then all of a sudden there it was. I saw DxStrike playing it on his PC, and I saw my brother Keelancer trying it out. So I was like, oh, I had no idea. So I gave it a try, and oh man, like overall, like I'm really impressed with the visuals, and I also like the unique gameplay style, which we'll go into when we start talking about gameplay. But the game is like very soothing. It's nice and easy on the eyes. I like the interaction between Kay and you, which this game really focuses on relationship dynamic, which I think is pretty cool. Most games, or most role-playing games, since this is a role-playing adventure, when it comes to like the two protagonists, you really don't have protagonists lately where they're already couples, so you're diving right into the game and we just have both protagonists. They're in a relationship together, and the way the demo like intrigues my interest is we don't know the full extent to why they're on the run. They're running from the apiary, and now that they're on the run, they're just stranded on this islet, and they're just trying to get along with one another, and they're trying to use what they have. So this is pretty much like a survival game as well. But we're going to definitely dive right into it right now. First of all, we're going to talk about the interactions between you and Kay and what we've picked up so far of the game, starting with Keel Lance.
Farzo, when I picked up playing the game, noticing that they're on a run for some type of empire that they were a part of, and they seek to have, what's the word I'm looking for? Refuge on this planet. Apparently, they've done their research, small research on this planet, whatever the information that they got, and they just pretty much went head first and whatnot. The main character, which is the guy, he's pretty much a biologist, and the girl is a mechanic. I like how the ship a dynamic, but also he's an excellent cook. Farzo, from me playing the demo, you don't really see what she can really do besides like repair stuff. You don't really get into her mechanics, if she even had mechanics like that. But the interesting thing about them is the fact that their core meat of the game is their relationship, how they interact with each other. And I just found it amazing that you got this guy right here. He's a purely logical type of person right here when it comes down to the aspect of the situation that they're in, and you got his female friend, his female companion, who's like, yo, listen, we're just away from all this danger. Let's not even focus on what the next step is, where he is eager to find out, yo, we got to figure out a plan of how we're going to get past the situation that we're in so we can be able to live and think about the other things in the future and stuff. And I just thought that aspect is cool. You don't really see this in games when it comes down to relationships, as MugenLord says, characters already being together in a story plot. I just find that really, really amazing.
DxStrike?
From the whole concept of the game just being based on a relationship, a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, in just the beginning of the game, is a aspect that I've always wanted. I always wanted a concept where instead of you building up to the relationship, it'd be different if the game starts off with the whole boyfriend and girlfriend or wife and husband aspect, because then you get to see the challenges that both the wife and husband or girlfriend and boyfriend go through, and you get to see whether they break apart or they stay together, or it's pretty much going to show how strong a relationship can be and should be, even in a real life situation. And I was more so intrigued by that for the simple fact that when I played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, it had a brother and sister aspect, so that's kind of sparked my interest. So when I seen Haven have that aspect, I was all down for it. I was like, wow, I really want to see how this go. And what really made it dope was I didn't know it was going to be like a decision making type of game.
Yeah.
And that's what really pulled me, and I'm like, wow. So like the future of these two relationships is in our hands, you know what I'm saying? And it's really, to tell you the truth, it's really gonna kind of go, I'm not sure how deep they're gonna go into it, but it's really gonna go into the psyche of how you think as a person if you were in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna fit whatever decision you choose is going to fit your personality.
I like that.
Yeah, whether you're like a male or a female, and it's going to decide how you think, where's your logic at. So what I was when I was seeing was they more so have two decisions throughout the game. You have a positive and a negative decision. Now, based off since they have to still have some room for both characters' personalities. So I noticed that Kay has more of a positive outlook in most of his decisions, and Yu has more of a negative outlook. But she has she does have her positive responses and stuff like that, but it's more so on the negative side. And I thought that was really cool. I'm really like intrigued by the mystery of the apiary. Like, what are they? Like, why are they on the run? And what is so special about Kay and Yu that they want to track them down? You know what I'm saying? Are they running from a society that was controlling that looks down on their type of relationship or whatever they are? Like, what is it about? So I gotta get the real game.
Yeah, because I definitely want to follow up on that, like where DxStrike was saying that it places you in the mind of how would you react or respond in a relationship like this. And I want to elaborate for the fact is that I noticed, like, when Kay and when you are conversating with one another, you get like a feel of their personality. And the thing is, she's very, very pushy. Now, since I'm playing the game, and which I'm glad DxStrike brought this up, I'm picturing myself as Kay dealing with you if she was my girlfriend. Since she's very pushy, I'm a guy that don't like to be pushed or whatever like that, and I'm a guy that like to sit back and just think about the situation. So when they was at the dinner table together and it was time to start having conversations, I chose that like, what are we gonna do about the whole with the aviary or like that? And she pretty much had got upset and got attitude, said she don't want to talk about it. But me picturing myself in real life, how I am, I'm like, no, we have to really think about stuff like that, because you can tell in their relationship that they're very young, and what they just did just now, making the decision, they pretty much leaped before they thought about it. And now, so that's the thing. They leaped before they thought about it, and now they're in a certain situation. And during the situation, Kay is trying to be rational and still think about, okay, we did this decision, now what? And he's really wanting to really think about where they're going to do next, while she just want to go with the flow, which you can kind of see that in relationships when it comes to whatever kind of relationship that you're in or whatever like that. You're always going to have that one person that just want to live with, go with the flow, and the other person that really want to rationalize. But I mean, you both can have people who just don't think, period.
Yeah, or somebody that just want to just get away from the problem and not talk about it.
Exactly. So that's what I'm really, really like curious about. I really have my interest in. He set up the premise for you to really like these characters, and I want to know how both of them, Kay and you, are definitely how they're going to end up at the end of all this. But we're going to just now dive into the gameplay, because there's a lot of, I won't say a lot, but from what we played from the demo, there's like a survival aspect to it too, where you have to collect resources and you have to cook and all these other kind of things. So we're gonna go to DxStrike, where you explain what you thought of. We'll get into the combat later, but we can go into like the exploration now and the resource management and stuff.
Now, so far, like I said, it's the demo, so it was limited. So far, I do like the worlds are so pleasing to the eyes, and the music pulls you in so much that the exploration it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's really calming, the ambiance of everything. So going out and looking for like flowers and like food resources and like what do you call that, the was it dust remnants, whatever, and then the Applebee's, Applebee's and the flow threads and stuff like that. I didn't mind doing it, and plus I do like the flying mechanic while you're looking for the stuff. Like I said, it doesn't really go deep into it, but before the ship gets messed up, you're able to cook the apple dews or whatever ingredients that you find.
Yeah, and ripple peppers.
Yeah, ripple peppers. Yeah. And pretty much that's another way of you healing. Mm-hmm. But it was when you go into the machine, you got that first person view, look around and stuff like that. Yeah. If you go into the bathroom, it's this thing called Cure. Yeah. But it's like a red bar, so you can't click on it. So later on in the joint is once the ship gets destroyed, you can't go back to the ship. It was kind of hard for you to heal, and you couldn't eat the food on the spot, because since he's a biologist, mm-hmm. he has to pretty much examine it for bacteria and all the other stuff like that. So you go into the inventory, you can see what stuff you have, what materials you have and stuff like that. And I like the way the menu was laid out and everything. Was it the flow thread is called, how you have was it K's mechanic when you find and stuff like that. The flow thread mm-hmm. is sort of like Yu's, because she's the one that pretty much gives the power back into the nest, which is the ship.
I guess you can see it.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's like one of her mechanics. So
that's what I never understood. Like, what was the whole point of doing the threads and stuff like that? Okay, I didn't know.
Now, because Keo brought it to my attention that you see a lot of K's mechanics. So I was wondering if there's going to be more dealing with her engineering and stuff like that. And I just thought about that on the spot right here, because he mentioned this. So I was like, I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm hoping to see more of that.
For me, when it comes down to resource gathering, I'm probably the one in the group that always play those type of games where you gather a lot of resources. I'm a fiend when it comes down to resources. And when I first jumped on, automatically I scouted the area, constantly gathering apple dews. And eventually, once you was able to go over to the other side, you had to get those the pepper joints, and I gathered a bunch of those. And for me, when it comes down to gathering those ether current flows, I liked the fact that once you touch them, they give up a long threaded line till it gets to the end. It to me, it kind of almost has like a rhythm and a kind of like a pacing to it.
You have to drift and stuff, and as long as you stay onto the flow, the line will keep going and stuff like that. Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting spin on that. But also the colors, like I said, the colors are so vibrant. It reminded me of, like I said, Fury. Especially when it comes down to some of the ether flow jones and stuff. It kind of reminded me of Fury, and that definitely made me lock onto this game even more. I was just hoping to be able to explore a little bit more in the demo. But the demo was just really short when it came down to gathering stuff. So I'm like, wow. So I won't get a chance to know if I'll be able to make different types of foods instead of apple dews.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I didn't really know the difference between K and U in terms of gameplay besides their special features, which K, he does the cooking and stuff. But yeah, U is more of a mystery to me as well, because I'm like, okay, like, what's her purpose? Like, does she move faster than him, or is she heavier? I had no idea. So I just found myself just for the fun of it, just switching back and forth while exploration. Now the thing is, as far as exploring is concerned, when it comes to me in these type of games, games that gives me too many options, I end up not knowing what I want to do. And out of all of them, my brother DxStrike and Keelancer, once they're honed in on what they want to do, they can get through a game much faster than I can, especially if I have a game that has too many options. I feel as though I don't know what to harper on first before I go on to the next objective. But just look at the world itself and how colorful it is and the art style. It makes you want to explore. It makes you want to look through every nook and cranny to see if there's any other things you can find. We found this other thing, this red goo stuff.
The dust.
Yeah, the dust. Yeah, so they haven't really went into full detail of the full explanation and what that stuff can potentially do and everything.
The files. They never explained it.
Yeah. So
I mean, from what I gather, I think it's what's corrupting the monsters that you have to fight.
And speaking of monsters, we definitely will just move into the next subject, which is the combat itself, is because as you can see that as you on this islet, because you're going to get separated from your ship because there's some seismic activity that's going on, there's something there to where the monsters get corrupted. And from what I've understand how these two communicate and how they respond to the life forms on this islet, it seems like they don't really like to kill and whatever, because the way the combat system works is that you really don't kill the enemies, you have to pacify them. But we'll go into more detail, give it to Keelancer, and then DxStrike will follow up as far as the combat.
From my understanding of both these characters, like what MugenLord was saying, they don't like to kill. From my experience of walking around traversing the world, you can walk up to the creatures and pet them. You don't jump into a fight right away. You can pet them first and all that other good stuff. But jumping into the combat, when the monsters are corrupted, they grow these red crystals of dust on their backs.
Right.
So bottom growing the dust on their backs, the K and U are discussing it's not really them that are coming at it. It's whatever corruption that they have on their backs. So it's your job to purify them. So you have pretty much impact. Impact pretty much can break down the shield or anybody that has a barrier on them or something. And then you have the beam attack, which I'm not really sure what that really does, but I'm guessing it's a range attack. And then you have guard, which you can protect your K or U. Any one of them can use it. And then you have purify. Purify, after you beat their energy down, you can use purify to purify them, and they'll just walk off and turn back to regular creatures of the world. Their health system is really unique. It's because their health system is on their boosters on their legs. So you have the green, the light blue, which is you're in good academic health. Then you got the yellow, you're in mid health, and then red, that means you're in the danger zone. But as you discovered later on, you could put the health bar on top of the screen, which is cool. And also what I've noticed too, towards when you fight the boss, you'll be able to do team up attacks in order to bring down a big heavy duty boss, which I found very, very interesting on that note right there. But the combat system, also the monsters are constantly coming at you, so there's no time to really even figure what am I supposed to do. Everything is so fast paced,
right?
And that's where I got lost at. I'm gonna let DxStrike take it away and finish up this part right here.
Well, when you fight, you pretty much, since everything is a constant real-time movement, you have to pretty much pay attention to the monster's movement. They each time when they're about to attack, they angle themselves, or they'll charge, like they do like charge attacks, and that'll let you know what character or which side they're going to attack from. And you pretty much when you watch their movements, that will decide what movements you're going to make with both you and K, whatever. And see, the thing is when you do when you see somebody attacking from the side, now if K or you is about to die, or they getting like really messed up really bad, you use shield, and that person's about to attack that character. That character on whatever side is going to jump in front of that teammate by itself to protect them. Now, the blast attack is actually the more stronger attack. It's more stronger than the impact. Is because one is a charged blast. Now it won't work against the enemies when they have their like a high shield and stuff like that. Right. So the impact is something that will break those shields. Once you break the shield and you use blast, the blast takes more damage.
Right.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because it's pretty much also you can see that from the enemy's perspective too. So like if your character's getting messed up and you don't even block in time, there's the blast. If you look at the damage, the blast takes a lot more than if they were like to regularly hit you. And the thing is when you fight with these characters, you don't just tap buttons, you don't click words, whatever. You have to hold the buttons,
right? Yeah.
And you can hold it, the attack or whatever, and then let that other one attack, and then once that person's done, you can let K or you go and stuff like that. So it's more of a timing situation, or more of a thinking, waiting out situation. That's why they allow you to charge your attacks or whatever. And I thought that was different especially for a turn-based game. I thought that was different, charging the buttons. It took a while. It's going to take a while to get used to, because I was getting destroyed. Because I'm trying to figure out where my footing is, and I'm trying to figure out I started to sit back and watch the enemies before I did anything and how they position themselves. I started to get better and better and better. Now when you fight the boss and you do these team up attacks, you pretty much hold the buttons together, and when you hold the buttons together, the dial shows up in the middle, and you have these two bars on both sides of the characters' names. You have to let the dial charge. You have to let it go around like twice, and it'll fill both bars up. If both bars are filled up, the attack will be a lot stronger. It'll take more damage. If it's filled up by one, it's strong, but not as strong as if it has two. And then you can charge it, and the bar doesn't go up, it will take even less damage than that, whatever. And I think it's called double impact.
Yeah,
that's what's called.
Yeah, and I just thought it was hot.
Yeah, the combat is pretty unique. It's very fast paced. Yes, it does require you to really think really quick. And the moment I jumped on the game, the first thing I did was went to the options just to check and see if they have anything. I want to see if there are anything with the graphicals I can crank up even any more. But I end up finding that setting to where it turns on the HP and it turns on the targeting to show who I'm targeting, who the enemies, if they're targeting K or you. So it definitely helped out in that department. But yeah, it's knowing when to use K and knowing when to use you, because you can either attack together, or you can actually use one character to interrupt another attack in order to stop them from attacking the other character. And the thing was, I keep forgetting that I had the whole thing with the shield, because the whole time I did the combat, I didn't use shield not one time. I didn't use shield not one time. I was just like, all right, I gotta stop this attack. Oh, double impact. It's so much you have to really think about and stuff. So that's why I can't wait to like the actual full game, to where they can actually explain and go and give you the whole premise of how everything works, because you just dive right into it with no explanation, and you just pressing stuff to see what works and what doesn't work and stuff. But overall, the game is just fun. We're going to just wrap this up, because the demo, like I said, was really short. It's just to give you a premise of what to expect from the game. I can't wait to see how the relationship mechanics is going to work, how it's going to affect K and U during combat, and how it's going to overall affect the story just in general. So you got any thoughts you want to take away before we close out?
Well, I'm just hoping that once the full game comes out, like they'll go into more explanation of what the heck is going on, what the heck they're running from, and how special these characters really are.
Yeah, I'm more so interested in because like when you go into the inventory, you see what they use, what armor pieces they have, and it's pretty much they got these glowed up gauntlets and leg pieces. Now I'm curious to see, will we get like different versions of those, or will we get weapons? And both, I'm thinking like are both of them be able to use them, or like you get to choose, you know, what person gets what type of weapon or whatever. So I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, that pretty much wrap this up. You definitely need to go check out Game Baker's website, or go to Steam and just check them out. Even go to their YouTube channel and check out the content that they have over there. Besides Haven, they have Fury and a couple other titles that they have. And tell them that MugenLord sent you. So that wraps this up. I'll post a link in the description below. You can check out Keolancer and DxStrike's individual YouTube channel. Check out their content to see if it's something that you click with, and subscribe to them as well. And you also tell them that MugenLord sent you as well. So this is MugenLord,
Keolancer,
DxStrike,
signing out. It looks like you reached the end of the video. Well, while you're at it, check out some of my other discussion videos by clicking on the annotations below, and don't forget to follow me on other social media platforms to stay up to date with future content. Signing off.